Right, another side note that I thought I'd share with you. When you're finally getting it down to the ground, as I think I said before, you don't want to mash the tube sections where possible into the grass, because they will get mud and grit in the end, and that won't do any favours. So especially if you've got a complex head arrangement with radials or anything fragile, if you're trying to put a disc cone up or something that would basically get squashed when you lower it down to the ground, what you should have is like this. It's a bamboo stick stuck in the ground with a bit of that foam pipe insulation stuff, just, you know, a couple of inches chucked down the bottom. And then what you can do is just slide it on there. It's not going to work terribly well just because I'm trying to film it, but that allows you to then add any radials or do any antenna adjustments. Probably going to fall over. Allow you to do any antenna adjustments, you know, without it lying flat on the ground. So this is your 627. It's quite a long antenna, stainless steel. The head unit, as I call it, the head mount, is quite a cool thing. It's fully adjustable, so you can mount the antenna at any angle you want. And it has, I don't know if you can see there, threaded holes in which these ground plane radials screw in for 2 meters and 70 sims. So it allows you to take a mobile whip off a car and screw it straight on here and have a mobile station. They're very cool things. About 30 odd quid, well worth the money. I didn't run with the ground plane radials in because it's an added layer of complication. You see these yellow wires, they are just attached. They should make continuity with the mast, and literally, I'm going to get into a huge tangle, but I've just tied it round the thing. When the guy line is stretched out, they come out. So yeah, it looks fiddly. You have to sort of do it. This is why I've come up here to try and do this somewhere where if I get it wrong, it doesn't really matter. You do need to do that several times with one of these masts before you try and use it on an event or do it in front of your mates, because it can throw you a curveball. But if you do it by thinking it through and you get a system going, then even as I've demonstrated in 40 or 50 mile an hour gusts, single-handed in the pouring rain, it is quite straightforward to put up. What I do suggest you do is make yourself a cheat sheet. So you've got the guy lines. These measurements are for my specific setup. You know, it tells you all the things that you need. Now, a broadside length, if you're turning up on an event with a car, you need to get an idea of kind of where you park the car, how to set the mast up in relation to where the car is. So if, for example, you were parked on the pavement perhaps and like next to a playing field, you would park the car side on, run the cable across to the grass, put the mast up. So this broadside length is a way basically minimising the distance between the centre of the mast and the car. The joy with doing it this way is also that as you put the mast up, all the time it is pointing away from the vehicle. So quite cool. Yeah, you do need to sit down and do a little bit of maths. It's Pythagoras, basically, Pythagoras' theorem, the 3, 4, 5 triangle. The top angle that you've seen is 36 degrees out of interest, so that's the same as a 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's not 45 degrees, and as you've seen, it seems to work absolutely fine. But have a cheat sheet. This is laminated, it's wet, it doesn't matter. It's all spelled out so that I could, you know, work it out if I'm 5 and had a bit to drink. And then on the back I have a diagram. There's a bit of grass. It's just so that if I'm struggling to know where the guy lines should go, you know, I've got approximate markings just to work it out in my own head as to where they should go. So there you go. That is the aluminium mast set. I'll give a link to the shop that I got that from at the end, and there we go. And if you're going to use paracord, that's up to you. You know, take in mind advice from other amateurs, you know, on that one, because that's my personal decision and I've had no further advice except I wouldn't. The only other thing I'd say is use brightly coloured paracord, seriously, because this is all black because I had a rolled black. It's easy to trip up, it's difficult to see what's what. So if you're going to use rope, if you can, use bright colours like neon green or neon orange or white or something, and use different colours for the intermediate guys and the top guys, and then it will be so much simpler. Anyway, I know this is a bit of a sort of chaotic video. I'm not really into videos, I'm not intending to get into making videos, but I thought I would share that. That is quite cool from the point of view that you can fit the whole thing in a backpack, which I'll show you in a minute, and you can just walk off with it. And that's the mast, all packed away in its bag. The whole thing, coax, guy lines, pegs, the whole lot in this bag, which is, it doubles as a rucksack. So there you go, you can put the whole thing in your back and off you go. This is this is what they call a deployment bag. It's a military thing. It's basically a huge carry-all, or like hold-all, so it's got a handle on the side so you can carry it like a briefcase, and then it's got your straps so you can chuck the whole thing on your back. This is a US military one because the UK one is a tiny bit shorter and therefore all the poles stick out the top. You know, it's a bit of a crude temporary measure until I can figure out something better, but it works really well. It means you can grab the whole mast out the back of the car and go off across the hills or whatever you want to do and set it up. One other thing that it's well worth having, and is almost in, you know, you can't really do without it, is like a surveyor's measuring tape like this one. 50 metres fiberglass. This is how I measure out the plots so quickly, because I have a very long tape measure. That is an important thing if you're going to be setting this up all over the place. They're only about 15 quid. Someone like B&Q probably do them, Screwfix, all those sort of places. Well worth it, these things. 50 metres, nice big reel, they're indispensable. That's about it really. That's what I have to say about the tubular mast. So that's going to go back in the car now. It's well worth using these sort of boxes for your equipment, because I can lay them out on the table, and even if it pours with rain, it doesn't matter. So there you go. So I hope that will inspire some of you to go get one of these masts, or you know, you can mail order them. They are cool. They do allow you to just walk off into the distance and put up an enormous thing by yourself. So if you don't have any friends, or if you just like to do things on your own, it is possible. I think this is what puts a lot of people off masters, this idea that you struggle to do it on your own. So I'm going to put this in the back of the car. This will fit in the boot and go home, have some lunch. So thanks for watching. Please excuse the slightly higgledy-piggledy nature. I'm not used to doing videos, as I said before, but you never know, I might do another one. So take care everyone, see you soon.